Hello everyone. Today we will start with the first unit for class 12th chemistry, that is the solid state. As we know, the matter can exist in three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas. The physical state of any substance depends on two factors. Number one, the intermolecular force of attraction, which tries to bring the constituent particles of the matter together, and the second, which is the thermal forces, which tries to separate the constituent particles of any matter. Now, the physical state of the substance will depend on the extent of these two forces. If the thermal forces are very strong or the intermolecular forces are very weak, in such a case the substance will exist in the gaseous state. However, if the thermal forces are very weak or the intermolecular forces are very strong, in such a case the substance will exist in the solid state. Of these three states, we have studied the gaseous and the liquid state in class 11th. In this class, we will mainly deal with the solid state. First of all, we will begin with the general characteristics of solid state. As we have already studied in various classes, the solids have definite mass, volume and shape. Their intermolecular distances are very short. The intermolecular forces are strong. Their constituent particles, which can be atoms, molecules or ions, have fixed position and they can only isolate about their main position, and they are incompressible and rigid. Depending on the nature of arrangement of constituent particles in a solid, it can be classified as either amorphous or crystalline solid. Any solid is said to be crystalline if the arrangement of constituent particles is uniform throughout the solid, whereas it is said to be amorphous if the arrangement of the constituent particles is not uniform. Example of crystalline solids can be taken as sodium chloride, quartz, whereas amorphous solids, the examples can be quartz glass, rubber, plastic, etc. The properties of crystalline and amorphous solids are quite different. The crystalline solids have a sharp melting point. In contrast, the amorphous solids softens, melts and start flowing over a range of temperature, and hence can be molded and blown into various shapes. Amorphous solids have same structural features as liquids and can be conveniently regarded as extremely viscous liquids, and hence they are also known as pseudo-solids or supercooled liquids. Also, amorphous solids are isotropic in nature, that is, The various physical properties like mechanical strength, refractive index, electrical conductivity is same in all directions. Whereas for crystalline solids, they are said to be anisotropic, and these physical properties, they are different in different directions. The differences between crystalline and amorphous solids can be very well understood with the help of table 1.1 given in the screenshot. Now, the classification of crystalline solids. The crystalline solids can be classified on the basis of nature of intermolecular forces or bonds that hold the constituent particles together. These intermolecular forces can be van der Waals forces, ionic bonds, covalent bonds, or metallic bonds. On this basis, the crystalline solids can be classified into four categories, that is molecular, ionic, metallic, and covalent. We will study these type of solids one by one. First type is the molecular solid. In these type of solids, the intermolecular force of attraction are weak forces and the constituent particles are molecules. If the molecules are non-polar in nature, they will form non-polar molecular solids. Example like argon, helium, iodine, etc. In these solids, the atoms or molecules are held by weak forces like London forces, and hence they are soft and non-conducting in nature. Also, they have low melting point and they are usually liquid or gases at the room temperature and normal pressure. Second type of molecular solids are polar molecular solids. These type of molecular solids are formed when the molecules are polar in nature, like that of HCl, SO2, etc. Such molecules form relatively stronger dipole-dipole attractions, and hence they have higher melting point than the non-polar molecular solids, but still their melting points are very low. They are soft and non-conductor of electricity. Next type, the third type of molecular solids are hydrogen bonded, and the best example of this is ice. The molecules of solids which contain polar covalent bonds between hydrogen and fluorine, oxygen, or nitrogen atoms forms such type of solids. They are also non-conductor of electricity. They are generally volatile liquids or soft solids under room temperature and pressure. The next type of solids are ionic solids, and as the name suggests, the constituent particles of such solids are ions. Such solids are formed by the 3D arrangement of cations and anions bound by the strong electrostatic force of attraction. As the electrostatic force of attraction is very strong, so the solids which are formed by the cation and anion, they are hard and brittle in nature. Also, due to the presence of strong electrostatic forces, they have high melting and boiling point. Since the ions are not free to move about, They are electrical insulators in the solid state. However, in the molten state or aqueous state, these ions are free to move and hence they can conduct electricity. The third type of solids are metallic solids, and these type of solids are formed by the metals. In such solids, the positive ions are surrounded by and held by a sea of free electrons. These electrons are mobile and hence evenly spread out throughout the crystal. Each atom contribute one or more electron towards the sea of these mobile electrons, and the presence of these free electrons result in the high electrical and thermal conductivity of these metals. Also, they are lustrous in nature and have color in certain cases. They are highly malleable and ductile. The last type of solids are covalent or network solids. They are also called giant molecules. These type of crystalline solids are formed by the formation of covalent bonds between the adjacent atoms of the non-metals. As we know, covalent bonds are strong and directional in nature. Therefore, atoms are held very strongly at their positions. Such solids are very hard and brittle. They have extremely high melting point and may even decompose before melting. This is because to melt such molecules, all the covalent bonds must be broken simultaneously, and that will require a large amount of heat, and hence this results in the high melting point of these metals. They are generally insulator of heat and electricity, graphite being an exception. Graphite is a soft and conductor of electricity. Its exceptional properties are due to the structure. Carbon atoms are arranged in different layers, and each atom is covalently bonded to 3 of its neighboring atoms in the same layer. The 4th valence electron remains free, and which is responsible for the conducting nature of these substances. The different layers are held by weak van der Waals forces, which can very easily be broken, and hence graphite is soft in nature and is a very good solid lubricant. The various properties of these solids can very easily be compared by the table of 1.1. The students can solve the in-text questions